Thank you. Good morning. um, so, I'm Mary. I am responsible for business development and corporate development at NEO. And as Alex mentioned, NEO is a very unique type of company. We've actually had the opportunity to think very differently about mobility. I'm hoping to share some of that with you this morning. A little bit of background on myself. I've been in the tech industry my entire career. I've worked with startups, so this is ranging from 5-person startups with a little bit of seed money to large corporates like a Cisco, where I had the opportunity to run M&A investments. So I've seen both sides of a lot of the incredibly exciting opportunities working with partners, with ecosystems, as well as with investors and corporate partners. I joined NEO about 3 years ago to really take on this journey of transformation in the mobility industry. And let me step into that a little bit and share with you both the journey from NEO's perspective, a few of the insights that we've had as a company, as a startup in this space, and then also invite you for partnership and collaboration as we take on this journey together. So NEO is more than a car company. And our founder, William Lee, back in 2012, he looked around the world around him and said, I am inundated with endless smog, unrelenting traffic, and really the daily grind of the commute and the day-to-day. And what can I do to change this? As an entrepreneur, he's a serial entrepreneur, so this is his third company. Also third company to go public. He basically said, how can I fundamentally change what the world can be? And I don't want my kids to grow up in this world. I want the world to be different. He, like all good entrepreneurs, sat down with his college friend and brainstormed. So his college friend actually comes from one of the electric vehicle companies in China. They sat down and they looked around and they said, what can be different here? And within about 2 years, they actually came up with 3 fundamental principles of how this could be different. Number 1, we established NEO with this vision of becoming a global startup. So as you think about the world today, talent is not limited by geography. Resources are everywhere, and we want to be able to tap into the best-of-breed talent across the globe. So despite being a startup from the ground up with 0 resources, they basically were fundamentally committed to the idea that NEO would be a global startup, and we would actually look at what's possible. How do we actually bring excellence from across the globe? 2, how do we actually create an opportunity to redefine what auto and tech can be together? There's a lot of brilliant work being done through existing OEMs, through the tier 1s that are in industry today. They've optimized, they have brilliant people. As a startup, we're not going to replicate what they do. That doesn't make sense, right? They have decades of experience and expertise. What can we do differently because we are a startup? And with that in mind, we actually thought about how do we bring together automotive and tech in a unique way, unconstrained by the fact that we have no organizational structure to start. We're not limited by what's been done before. How do you reimagine that, right? So it was literally blue sky thinking from the ground up, and then finally. What they've also come to is that the vehicle is one element of that end-to-end mobility experience. It's a very critical element, but it is not the single element. A lot of the pain points from a user perspective really sits at the intersection of car and beyond car. So we actually have a whole set of services that we think of as beyond car. And as NEO, we've actually focused very much around both discovering as well as addressing those pain points. So in terms of the global organization, at start, and we literally started the company this way, we had global centers of excellence. So starting from China, where we actually have centers of excellence in Shanghai and Beijing focused on the vehicle engineering, manufacturing, some of the vehicle software design, to London, where our performance vehicle program sits. So this is our Formula E, our supercar program, and some of the advanced vehicle engineering. In Munich, we established our design center, where that's the source of our interior-exterior design teams. And then finally, in Silicon Valley, this is where the best-of-breed tech and technology talent sits. So we bring all of these teams together as a global organization, and we actually jointly develop and collaborate across the globe. This is a view in our Shanghai headquarters. And again, even the buildings and the environments that we actually sit, very similar to this plug-and-play concept, we actually want to facilitate collaboration. So there's a lot of openness, there's a lot of opportunity and space for the teams to work together. Our global leadership combines auto and technical expertise. So if you look across our global leadership team, William, who I mentioned, he's an internet entrepreneur, third company, NIO is his third company. Li Hong comes from Procter & Gamble from a global branding perspective, as well as from Chery, which is a Chinese EV company. Jack Chang, he had been a senior executive at Ford for a number of years. He was the chairman of Fiat China, as well as the chairman of Magna Morelli China. So deep expertise in terms of what it means to actually develop the right systems, the right processes, and right excellence in terms of our vehicle programs. And finally, Louis, who is our CFO, huge experience in terms of bringing companies to market. I think NIO was his 6th company that went public, and he had been the board of JD.com, which is the equivalent of Amazon.com in China, as well as Yum Brands, which again, global branding. From a portfolio perspective, we looked into the market, and we actually said we need to build, as a startup, we need to build a portfolio that actually addresses a number of different audiences. So we started off with Formula E racing. We actually developed then a supercar, and then we have some concept vehicles and a production vehicle, and I'll step into those one at a time. Our Formula E team, we were actually in the inaugural season of Formula E, and we were fortunate enough to actually win in that inaugural season by a single point. So it literally came down to the wire. Very exciting season for us. The EP9, this is our supercar. So this is the $1.2 million supercar that's bespoke. So I believe there's roughly 17 of these made, custom made to order. And it has broken world records at the Nürburgring, at the Paris Circuit, at the Circuit of Americas in Austin. And it is beautiful machine. So if you're ever interested, we actually have a model of this in our office in San Jose. So please do come and visit us. NIO Eve, this is our concept vehicle. And for those of you that are less familiar with NIO, E for us is our vision for the future. We believe that in the future, your vehicle actually becomes a new living space. This, both from an exterior and an interior perspective, and this shows a little bit of what Eve's concept would be. It is about flexibility. It is about spaciousness. It is about the idea that it is another space for you to work, to play, to relax. And there's a number of technologies, both in terms of the auto technology, as well as the core underlying compute platform that we've actually developed to support the set of capabilities that would be available in this type of vehicle. Eve was launched in 2017 at South by Southwest, and we had over 5,000 people come and experience the vehicle with us. The NIO ESA, this is our production vehicle. So this is the 7-seater SUV that was launched in June this year. We've shipped close to 5,000 vehicles at this point, and there's a number of unique capabilities that the ES8 brings to market, including the concept that this is very much tied to our ecosystem of services, and I'll share that with you shortly. When we actually thought about the ES8, we thought about the user. What are their specific pain points? And within the China market, because the government's actually changed from single-child to two-child policy, we actually found that there was an opportunity to develop a larger vehicle, one that actually suited family and family type of services. So a lot of the related services around the ES8 is with this type of user in mind. And as I mentioned, close to 5,000 vehicles delivered. One of the unique capabilities that we've developed as NIO is this idea around power swap. And let me share with you a little bit about what that means for the users in China. So in China, as users think about electric vehicles, which is actually very exciting, very interesting, there is actually not the infrastructure in place, nor the opportunity for infrastructure. Most people live in high-rise apartment buildings. They don't own their parking space. They don't own the property that would actually typically here, people would have access to building out their own home chargers. So we believe that in order to solve this problem, we would actually create this opportunity for one click for power. So there's a whole power swap infrastructure around our solution for users. And with that, it's a single app. You can actually have someone come to you, deliver power, or similarly, you can actually bring the vehicles into power swap stations. So our vision is that this is a unique experience, and we do offer different approaches in terms of accessing power, but we also believe that the unique capability there, which is a power swap in less than 3 minutes, very, very unique and very, very important in terms of users, in terms of their accessibility. From a service perspective, again, we wanted to change the concept of service. We believe that instead of going to a service and maintenance center, we actually have the opportunity, again, to change that experience into a mobile experience. From your app, you should be able to one-click to service. You have, it's almost a concierge-like service where people come to you and they actually will take your car or ideally do some mobile servicing as well. And finally, for us, the most unique aspect of our broader experience is the concept of a NIO house. And this is our idea of a living space for the NIO community. So the way that we thought about this is this should be a combination of an Apple store and a Soho house. It is a unique place for you and your NIO friends to gather. It is also a way to showcase some of NIO's core technologies. This is something that we've actually had the opportunity to build out across 13 cities to date within China. And we're going to continue to build those out because this is a full experience. This is something where, back to the original vision that William had for this new world for mobility, you should be able to drive your car up, concierge service for service, maintenance, anything else you need for the vehicle. Spend some time with your friends, relax, have coffee. And NIO houses are actually uniquely located to be in city centers. So they're essentially an oasis. It's an oasis for people to relax, to actually get out of the daily grind. And what we found is actually this has been a huge, huge success in terms of concept. This actually creates a community and an environment where NIO users get to spend time together. A lot of related services there, and here we actually are very, very open to working with partners to think about what else could be part of this whole user experience and community. So this is a little bit of a view in terms of some of the space that's available in a NEO house. So we actually have living gardens, we actually have libraries, we have a living room space, we have coffee bars, and every NEO house has some specific unique features. We also have this concept of an online community. So in addition to the physical community of being at a NEO house, we also have NEO app. And this is a community where users get together. There's an opportunity for them to provide real-time feedback in terms of what I love about the car, what's not working for me. And again, similarly, there's a concierge service type of idea. Each of the users have NEO fellows that are assigned to them, that actually responds to them, that actually spends time in this community space. This is an opportunity for people to bring NEO moments. So really, I mean, one of our users actually took the vehicle, drove around the entire perimeter of China. It took him 2 months, and that was his NEO moment, and he shared that in the NEO app. Separately, there's a number of activities. So there's both online, offline activities where NEO users get together. They get together to watch Formula E races, for example. There's a concept of friends and certainly surprises. So there's a curated experience. So we actually had the opportunity to create a jointly branded event with one of the major designers, and it was a runway event. It was literally a one-time event where, again, there's a shared experience for a number of the users. In terms of the production model, we had the opportunity to work with existing OEMs to leverage their manufacturing know-how as well as capacity to bring a number of these vehicles to market. So we have our factory in Hefei, and that's where our vehicle manufacturing sits. We also have powertrain manufacturing facilities in Nanjing. We have our inverter and battery manufacturing facilities, again, in other cities in Jiangsu. So, in addition to the vehicle programs themselves, we also look at building out a community, excitement around where NEO can be in the future. So we sponsor university students that are actually studying automotive in China, and we actually sponsor them in this what we call the NEO Formula E races. So it's a student-run program. And finally, just to share a little bit of the milestones that I think we've talked about. NEO was established in November 2014. And since then, we've actually had a number of very, very exciting moments, including the establishment of our Germany office, our San Jose office, as well as Formula E wins. And in the Circuit of Americas, where we actually won the EV world record, we also had the opportunity to establish the world record for an autonomously driven EV, so driverless lap around Circuit of Americas. And we have, here, I'm going to jump through some of this because it's a bit long. So we do have this event called a NEO Day. So similarly to launches that exist with the tech industry, we actually have a day where we actually bring in our top customers, our top partners, and we create an event around that to really launch our new vehicles. So last December, we were able to launch our ES8, and this year in December, we're going to launch the ES6, which is our next 5-seater SUV. And let me just click there. And then finally, in September this past year, we had the opportunity to IPO at the New York Stock Exchange, and that was a huge milestone for the company at large. And one of the unique points for that, which I think not everybody actually saw or necessarily noticed from the media perspective, but back to our focus around user experience. For the IPO itself, what we actually focused on was the users. So the folks that you actually see on the podium, they're actually users. There was nobody from the company on podium. It was actually user-driven, because we're a user-led company. And I thought that was actually very, very important and unique for us, both in terms of who we are as a company, but also the relevance to the user community. And finally, we produced our 10,000th vehicle just recently, and that was a huge milestone for the organization. That was a ton of fun. So, with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for the time. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. But I would invite all of you to consider collaboration with us as we take the journey to the next generation of mobility together.